Video by Olama-sama, How LARPers Ruin a Series.
Here, Stacy, put this on.
Why do you have... Jeremy, is this cosplay? Wait, are you live
Yeah, Goku's a bad father is a take that gets thrown around a lot, and Gojo being the main character is just completely stupid, man.
action role-playing? Are you LARPing?
Stacy, we
Gojo, it is kind of weird because Gojo has like that hype aura main character energy similar to like Ichigo from Bleach. But no, he's not the main character.
really have to get out of here.
You're going out LARPing, aren't you? This is LARPing stuff.
LARPing. This term has been the new buzzword that's taken 2026 social media by storm.
Yeah, honestly, LARPing goes above even like glazing, speed blitz, like any term you can think of. LARPing is above it.
Seen other words like fraud and crash out go on similar runs in the past, and over time, we've seen how the usage of these words began to change.
Honestly, I think the only one that LARPing loses against is like Megumi, Potential Man.
So in today's video, we're going to define the word LARPing, study 3 select fandoms that have the most LARPers, and discuss how these communities slowly got
Yeah, definitely Jujutsu Kaisen.
ruined by them. So what does LARPing mean? Traditionally, LARP is an acronym that stands for
Doesn't LARP stand for Loser and Reject Party?
Live action roleplay.
No, it does not, Rhett. LARP actually stands for live action roleplaying. It's pretty self-explanatory. LARP is kind of like acting out a D&D campaign in real life. You create characters, a world, and use your imagination for the rest of it. Now, obviously, when
Man, regular show was so peak, bro. Like, when I was younger, I used to prefer like Adventure Time over regular show and The Amazing World of Gumball. But now that I'm older, it's like regular show is the best of the big three.
a person calls someone a LARPer today, they're not talking about Jim who's playing as Darthon the Mighty for the afternoon. When it's used nowadays, it's referring to when someone is pretending to be something they're not, according to Urban Dictionary. You may be wondering, why does someone pretend to act like something they're not? And my guess is as good as yours. It could be a combination of factors, like wanting to be a part of a community, or not having easy access to the source material. And in a vacuum, there's nothing inherent.
Dude, I saw a lot of people saying that iShowSpeed was LARPing One Piece because iShowSpeed like reacted to this God Valley film clip or something, and he was like, what is God Valley? So iShowSpeed, who is like the biggest One Piece enthusiast, he doesn't even know what God Valley is.
Wrong with being a fake fan. These people have always existed on the internet in the shadows and usually don't bother anybody. The cracks start to show when these fake fans start to pretend like their word is gospel as if they actually consumed the series. I promise you, they'll argue with real fans that the misinformation that they're spreading is actually true. When someone does this, they are actively LARPing, and this practice has been more common in fandoms recently. Real fans are trying to weed out LARPers every day like it's the Salem witch trials.
Okay, well, this is how this is gonna go. I'm gonna ask you 3 questions, and if you get even more than one of them wrong, you'll be outed as a fraud, and you can't claim to be a Marvel fan for the next 5 years until your other hearing. Name 5 Black Widow villains.
And as you watch this video, you'll see how LARPers can slowly ruin your favorite fandom and series. So without further ado,
Let's LARP.
I feel obligated to talk about Dragon Ball first, as it may be the most LARP series of all time.
It's gotta be Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm sorry, man. It's gotta be JJK.
Dragon Ball is the poster child of LARPing, and it's partly due to the fact that it's so popular. People who haven't consumed a lick of Dragon Ball Z feel like they know the story because they've seen 15-second clips on TikTok.
I think Dragon Ball is easy to LARP, though, I'm not gonna lie.
There are so many easy ways to catch a Dragon Ball LARPer. There's the old reliable case of someone accusing Goku of being a bad dad. A lot of people saying this either never watched the actual series or watched.
It's kind of weird though, like before I watched Dragon Ball, like I would hear the Goku bad dad thing, but when I actually like I binged Dragon Ball Z, Kai, and Dragon Ball Super, and I never thought that Goku was like some terrible dad, at least not comparable to like Jing Freaks from Hunter x Hunter. Like he's not really that bad.
It a long time ago and don't remember it. You'll see people talk about the worst dads in fiction and put Goku on.
Yeah, Endeavor is horrible, Judge is horrible, Sanji's dad is horrible, Jing Freaks. Jing sucks, but Jing isn't evil like Endeavor and Judge and Show Tucker.
On the list. Oh snap, it's pop quiz time. Fast! Who is a worse father? A. Goku or B. Omni-Man?
I'm gonna guess Omni-Man.
If you answered Omni-Man, you'd be correct. If you answered Goku, well, the black SUVs are getting sent. And yes, Goku versus Omni-Man as a father is a real topic that some people have debated. I've seen people unironically say that Goku was a bad father
I haven't even watched Invincible and I knew it was Omni-Man.
for not being there for Goten. Let's excuse the fact that Goku was, you know, dead, but Dragon Ball Super starts off with Goku spending time with Goten, and when he first gets revived, he's trying to get closer to Goten. Quite frankly, if you catch someone saying Goku's a bad dad in 2026, shame on them. Too many people have called out the Goku's a bad dad narrative for people to still keep doing it. That's low effort LARPing right there, and unfortunately, it only gets worse. Something a lot of Dragon Ball LARPers like to do is refer to Team 4 Star's Dragon Ball Z Abridged as the actual series, and it's truly unfortunate that this series gets a lot of the flack for the Dragon Ball fanbase's brain damage, because I do like Abridged a lot, but it has most definitely caused a lot of the worst LARPers in the Dragon Ball fandom. For example, a lot of the Goku's a bad dad propaganda originated from Dragon Ball Abridged because they made so many jokes about it. I'm also pretty
Wait, so okay, so it started off as kind of like this comedy meme thing, but is this even a canon part of Dragon Ball? Why do some people use this as a genuine argument then?
sure that Abridged was the origin for all of the Yamcha slander. Most Dragon Ball LARPers probably don't even know that Yamcha was actually beating the Cyberman before it snuck him and blew him up. Just peep how much of the fight was cut from the Abridged episode. This man was in the fight for 3 seconds. Y'all gotta understand that DBZ Abridged has been around for 18 years. This particular clip has been around since 2008, which is probably older than some of y'all watching this video. It's supposed to be a joke, but as more time goes on, LARPers take this joke as the truth. This video could really just be like 20 minutes of me ranting about Dragon Ball LARPers. Like, you got people starting Dragon Ball at Super, which leads to them not knowing these characters in the
Yeah, the people who are starting Dragon Ball at Dragon Ball Super, they're just like power hungry, dude. They just want to watch like pure shonen slop battles. I don't even want to call it slop. It kind of is. Like, I'm not even trying to diss Dragon Ball Super, but it's like they're just like shonen elitists, dude.
slightest. That's like starting One Piece
Like Dragon Ball Z has peak fights and peak story. Well, let me not say peak story, but peak villains more so.
at the beginning of the Wano arc and not knowing the background story of any of the Straw Hats. But the worst propaganda spread by LARPers is that Dragon Ball is nothing but yelling and no writing. This idea has plagued the Dragon Ball community.
So the outline of the Dragon Ball series, like the overarching story, it's not the best, right? It's obviously not on a level of One Piece, Attack on Titan, Naruto, but to say it has bad writing doesn't make sense because the villains are peak. Frieza, Perfect Cell, Boo was honestly pretty good. Goku Black was nearly peak. Like Goku Black, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 villain, dude. Yeah, saying Dragon Ball has no writing in terms of the story, yeah. Like in terms of the story slash plot, okay. But the villains are peak, dude, and the writing and characterization of those villains is also peak. So you can't just say that Dragon Ball has bad writing.
For years now. It's to the point that people only know Dragon Ball for a hand.
Also, Vegeta's character development. Vegeta is arguably, debatably, a better deuteragonist than even Sasuke, Uchiha, and Zoro, and maybe even Killua.
Full of moments throughout the series. So much of Dragon Ball storytelling is taken away when people talk about
Vegeta was basically like Endeavor from My Hero Academia, right? He went on that redemption arc. He became good. Kind of like Meruem.
the series like it's only hype and aura. Of course LARPers don't think Super Saiyan is good writing. They didn't consume the series. All they saw was Goku edits on TikTok with Brazilian funk music playing in the background and thought Dragon Ball was filled with a bunch of beefcakes fighting. I'm going to call this phenomenon DBZification. And this reduction of the story isn't exclusive to Dragon Ball, but we'll get into that later. That's called foreshadowing. Also, if you're enjoying the video so far and you're new,
Honestly, I thought the plot was really good in the Goku Black arc, I'm not gonna lie.
subscribe. What he said. The next series riddled with LARPers is none other than...
I know that last has to be Jujutsu Kaisen. There's no way he's gonna skip JJK for this vid.
Oh, is it not gonna do the title card? Okay then. The series we're gonna be talking about is Invincible. Wait, so it works the second time but not the first? That doesn't even make sense. When Invincible burst onto the scene with its first season, it quickly became one of the most popular superhero shows. As a result, people decided to look into the source material of the series, the comics. But the unfortunate thing about consuming media through comic books is that you actually have to read. And a lot of people nowadays don't want to do that. We're in a literacy crisis, both figuratively and literally. So although there were some people who actually read the comics, a lot of the people who wanted to catch up to the comic books decided to LARP them instead. Why?
Okay.
Some people just want to look like they know what they're talking about and make sure everyone shares that same belief. And spoiler alert, you're gonna see that a lot of these people have no idea what they're talking about. Also, skip here if you want to avoid comic spoilers. An easy way to catch an invincible LARPer is using the Thrag versus Battle Beast fight. I'll see a lot of people talk about this battle like it's
So I haven't watched it. Okay, I'm gonna LARP for a second. Apparently, Battle Beast didn't have all of his weapons, and Battle Beast actually is stronger than Thrag if he were to have all of his full arsenal, his full weaponry.
super duper goated and fleshed out fight. In reality, a majority of this fight in the comics was off screen, no Blackbeard. I think people are expecting like a full-length episode for this fight when the series will probably just cut to it randomly throughout an episode. A lot of Invincible LARPers will also be a fan of a random character. They'll tell you with a straight face, yes, Tech Jacket is my favorite character, bro. I promise y'all, half of Tech Jacket's fans don't really care about the character. They just want to look like they're cultured with a slightly less popular character choice. And similarly to Dragon Ball,
Yeah, I really hate like the contrarian thing. Like some people are just contrarian for like no reason except trying to look cool. Like it's like somebody saying that, oh, trying to think. It's like somebody saying that Frankie is a better written character than like Sanji or Zoro because Frankie has a laid back personality and he's chill or whatever. It's like, dude, stop.
LARPers, Invincible comic LARPers consume the series through edits of characters like Thrag and Mark variants. And after watching enough edits, people start thinking that they know these characters like the back of their hand. They know them so well, in fact, that they can correct Ryan Otley, the creator of character designs, on the characters themselves. Like,
Insane.
seriously. Look at the comments of this post.
Battle Beast is 7'6". Also, he has a really heavy build.
Thrag is 6'10", little bro. Or my favorite,
Little bro is crazy.
Thrag is 6'10". Google it. And there are thousands of people liking these comments. And for my sake and yours, I'm not even gonna get into the Anissa stuff.
Oh yeah, so even though I haven't watched Invincible, I know like, you know, the infamous Anissa scene with Nolan or Mark, whatever, whoever the main character is, right? Invincible. The point is like, yeah, I know Invincible fans are kind of like speculating how that's going to get animated since Anissa kind of forces herself on him.
Invincible's fandom has a lot more bad apples, but the comic book LARPers are the biggest offenders. A lot of the Invincible comics are reduced to like 4 moments that people care about when the comics had a lot more storylines to offer. Ring any bells yet? Anyways, time for our final fandom.
Here it is. I knew it. Jujutsu Kaisen, best for last, bro.
And that brings us to our last fandom. If Dragon Ball is the anime fandom
Lobotomy Kaisen.
with the most LARPers of all time, then JJK gotta be the anime fandom with the most LARPers of the modern era. In my opinion, the JJK community is one of the biggest offenders when it comes to LARPing. JJK LARPers come in so many different varieties. Where do you even start? We can talk about how power scaling LARPers think Toji is some god of JJK because he beat Gojo. They'll ignore the fact that
Yeah, like a lot of people are forgetting this was pre-awakened Gojo, and also this was a Gojo who was tired out for 3 days and literally, you know, he dropped his guard, he took down Infinity. Like, this version of Toji is not that strong. If we're talking about Toji Zenin Prime Shibuya incident, he's stronger, right?
it took him Batman levels of prep time to actually get close to Gojo, and then somehow he becomes a top 3 level threat in the series. Half of JJK
The only reason Toji won this fight was because Gojo was stupid and he kept thinking that Toji was going after Amanai. Like, literally, Gojo still would have won against Toji here. Even a tired, weakened Gojo, he was low-key gonna win.
LARPers don't know that Gojo's not the main character in the series and think that Yuji's a side character. These guys only know like 5 characters and 3 of them are Gojo, and
Yeah, when season 1 of JJK was airing and like when we weren't on Shibuya yet, like, yeah, people were like, Gojo's the main character, right?
the other 2 are Sukuna and Toji. Then another chunk of the LARPers
This is kind of the issue sometimes with making your main character like quote unquote boring, I guess. Like, early Jujutsu Kaisen Yuji was, I guess, boring. And like, yeah, that's just the one flaw of having a quote unquote boring MC. Like, you need an MC like Ichigo or Asta sometimes, like with that hype factor. Because, yeah, people confusing Gojo for being the main character, kind of crazy.
Are probably only here because of the shipping, even though some of them make no sense whatsoever. Like, you tell me whether or not Sukuna X
I think the only like real popular ship was like, yeah, Gojo and Utahime. Like, I remember seeing a lot of memes and comments about that.
Yuji makes sense. There's also the fact that a bunch of LARPers have no idea how the series works. I know some of the
Some people were saying like Yuji and Nobara. I mean, nah.
curse techniques
Nobara doesn't like Yuji. Also, Yuji doesn't like Nobara.
can be complicated, but we can at least know the difference between a cursed technique and cursed energy. And apparently there are some people who read the manga and didn't know that Hikari has a cursed technique. That's real. That's a real thing. You even got rappers like MGK referencing JJK.
Yeah, this dude, I don't know why MGK ever made... Dude, he was just clout chasing, bro. Because it's like... He said that Gojo's six eyes was a curse technique. And like, no, it's like... It's an ocular kind of ability. It's like a hereditary genetic trait that you're born with.
In their songs. And while I'd love to bless your ears with this clip, I'll be danged if I get copyrighted for playing this song. So here's an impersonation.
Fair enough, dude. Honestly, MGK would probably pull something like that since, you're accusing him of LARP, which he actually is. He's like right up there with Logan Paul.
JJK, AA. Come on, man. JJK, I'm going Gojo 6-eye technique. Demon Slayer, Katana slice, all demigods must bleed.
Cut the
They're not even demigods though. Like, they're just demons. Like, it's not called Demigod Slayer, it's Demon Slayer, bro.
fuck off.
What is it?
But what is he doing?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Please note that the 6-eye
Can Muzan even be considered a demigod in like any circumstance?
technique doesn't exist.
I mean, he has immortality, but besides that, meh.
And if that song wasn't bad enough, I'm about to show you the corniest thing you'll see today.
I need you to understand that for the next 3 minutes, my name is not Machine Gun Kelly. For the next 3 minutes, my name is Satoru Gojo!
All of these LARPers are a reflection of a bigger picture. And trust me, I'm going somewhere with this. Let me cook. As
You know what? At least anime is popular enough to be LARPed on. You know what? I was about to say respect Machine Gun Kelly, but nah, I still can't do it.
we all know, clip culture is a big thing in social media. People often don't care for the context of a clip and only attempt to comprehend the segment itself. The same thing happens with the anime and manga community.
Dude, this scene was so cold, bro. Sukuna just staring down at Jogo like this goes hard.
People only see certain panels or segments of a series and consume
And I hate how they messed up Gojo's Throughout Heaven and Earth, I Alone Am the Honored One. Like,
happens with the anime and manga communities. People only see certain panels.
look how cool this pose was, literally in the manga, but in the anime, it was just whack, dude. Like, I hated how they adapted this. Again, the way he's posing in the manga panel just looks way cooler. Like, it's just a way better aura farm.
Panels or segments of a series and consume a series through that. This culture is only ramped up when a series gets very popular. JJK's manga, anime, and leak culture popping off made many moments of the series go viral, but this virality was like leaving out a burger in your apartment. LARPers were involuntarily invited into the JJK community. Some first-time consumers of JJK saw the hypest moments of the series and nothing more. The fights, the awakenings, the aura, the domain clashes, etc.
That's what happens when you watch Jujutsu Kaisen from YouTube Shorts or TikTok.
These are the moments that go viral, but these moments solely can't capture the exposition and
Nah, I'd win.
context that was happening before that made the hype moments hype. The Gojo edit with Yeet playing in the background ain't cutting it, I'm sorry. But for some reason, these clips are enough for people to make judgments on a series without watching or reading it. As a result, JJK LARPers start to believe that JJK is just hype fights and no story. And y'all should see the pattern at this.
Dude, there's literally a video on YouTube about this. Jujutsu Kaisen tells its story through fighting. The fights are the stories. The battles are the story.
This is what I mean by DBZ.
Dude, go watch Higuruma versus Yuji. Like, literally, any JJK LARPers, just watch Higuruma versus Yuji. The entire battle of Higuruma versus Yuji was a story. Like, it was beautiful, man.
The idea that as a series gets more and more popular, the story slowly becomes reduced to its most viral moments. The Invincible comics have been reduced to Thrag aura farming. JJK is just hype moments and aura. Dragon Ball is just yelling and transformations, etc. The very perception of the series gets far more warped than you think. Like, people out here are saying JJK is just animation and jumpings. Get for real. The Jujutsu Kaisen anime takes a lot of different approaches to the way it adapts the manga, but LARP.
Dude, did nobody watch like the Junpei and Yuji versus Mahito arc? Like, dude, the whole situation with Junpei and Mahito was so deep, and also just, their philosophy. Mahito was asking even like people like Nanami, do you think the soul or the body came first? Mahito and Junpei just having their little talk about, philosophy and whatnot.
Will just say it's nothing special and watch their 4th isekai anime of the season. Or maybe they'll try to poke holes.
Man, if you watch an isekai, at least watch like a well-written one like ReZero, bro.
In the writing by using certain moments as the basis of their point, which one makes no sense if you haven't seen the series, and two, more often than not can be debunked because it's explained in the series. Like people saying Goku was dumb for not taking the heart virus medicine when he was told to only use the medicine when the symptoms show up. And this DBZ-fication is gonna happen to every popular series that gets released. They will get discredited by people LARPing the series and ultimately cause the general audience to hate on it. Don't be shocked when Kagurabachi or the next
Dude, Kagurabachi is gonna get LARPed on so hard, bro. It's gonna be the new Jujutsu Kaisen. We're gonna see lobotomy Kagurabachi.
Popular series is getting the same treatment in a couple years. But
dude, the Kagurabachi memes are already out of control, dude.
DBZ-fication does not just affect the general audience, as the fans of the series have also been affected. You can't get a fact wrong about a character nowadays because a mistake equals LARP. People are just watching and waiting for you to slip.
Yeah, that's scary too. Like, yeah, it honestly is, bro. Like, even the iShow Speed thing. Okay, not knowing God Valley is pretty crazy, though.
Up just so that they can call you a LARPer. Sometimes, even if you do know the correct information, you get called a LARPer. It's a lose-lose. Discourse in some fan bases has devolved into people becoming pseudo-intellectuals about material they have or have not read. At the end of the day, there's not one singular reason as to why every single LARPer does what they do. And a decent chunk of the time, there's no bad intent behind it, and it's harmless. But there's always that chunk of LARPers who delude themselves into believing that their perception of the series is reality. And these guys simply argue just to avoid looking ignorant. However, they don't even realize that they become more ignorant the more they try to avoid looking like it. Thank you guys so much.
Dude, all we can do is pray and just hope that LARPers eventually go away. It's kind of the same with how like Glazers blew up, or like Speed Blitz, or any term really. It'll eventually fade into the dust, I assume.